Peace, peace, peace. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you who don't know, it's your boy Big Slang Hope, and I got another video for y'all. I'm about to play this clip, and then I'm gonna come back and do my commentary on it. It's about like a woman talking about how black women have always supported men, and that we need to be quiet about what we don't like about them. But here's the video.
Okay, if you a sugar mama, right?
What do you define a sugar mama though? We gotta make sure.
A sugar mama, is a cougar with a bag.
No, it don't have to be cougar.
Okay.
See?
Well,
a cougar and sugar mama, two different things.
Right. Okay, a woman with a bag, right?
Who's willing to share.
Who's willing to
share her resources,
and
which is all black women share. The numbers are the numbers. If black women have the most degrees, if we have the most home ownership, if we have the most education, and black men who I love, I rock with, will never date outside my race. But the bottom line is, the stats are the stats. It shows the less amount of degrees, the less ownership. So every black woman in her
y'all gotta
get
your
sugar
money
mama.
We gotta stop. We gotta stop.
Y'all gotta get your money
Like
up.
This the baller episode.
Yeah, whether you like it or not.
I'm looking at these statistics. Hey, brother, y'all gotta get y'all money up.
Yeah. But if you're not getting it up, who been helping your black ass? Your woman? No, but we got to make sure, we got to be clear. Your woman, your mama, your auntie. So the audacity to sit up here and talk about what you don't like about black women.
So, before I even get into the video, like in my commentary, that absurd stuff, like if you're rocking with my channel, you can click the link in the description below, right? You can access my book, Who Profits When Black Men Gangbang, right? I'm gonna put a little close, the light a little too bright. Who Profits When Black Men Gangbang. There's also a documentary, We Came to Heal. That you should go check that out, right? It's like some wisdom and some good information on there. Also, I hope y'all like my sweater, right? It says Vic Slang Hope. I don't know if y'all rocking with it. I don't know if y'all feeling the logo or whatever. But let me know what y'all think about the sweater. So yeah. So let me address some of these things. And before I even get into my commentary, I want to say this. I'm not making this video to be on no divisive stuff, right? Like, I don't know how many times, like, people got to say that, but people not thriving, like, they're, like, consuming, like, this divisive content, this content that's keeping us more divided than together. That's not even my intentions. I just want to highlight certain things and just bring about a message, right? Because a lot of this stuff is absurd. It's like people do it for clicks, for likes, for like it to go viral, and it's not helping our communities in any way. And people are soaking this up and running with it and spreading this as if it's facts and information, and it's really not. And I hate guys like that kind of like use their platform to kind of like amplify these messages, right? A lot of them guys is weird, man. Like, they internet people that don't really be out and about, or they don't even really care about the community because they just worried about filling up their pockets and getting the views, right? So I want to address some of the things that she said, right? Some of the things that she mentioned. She mentioned this stuff about more degrees, right? She mentioned this stuff about the most educated. First of all, that's kind of like go hand in hand, right? You go to school, you get a degree, that's called education. So she named degrees, education, and home ownership, 3 things. She named 3 things, and 2 of those things are the same thing, right? So really 2 things, getting an education and home ownership. But what she didn't mention, right, is that women also have the most debt. Black women, right, also have the most debt. And part of that is because they are the biggest consumers, right? They buy a lot of shit that's unnecessary. They max out their credit cards. They also borrow a lot of money to just go to these universities to get these degrees to prove something, to compete with them, man. Because that's what it seems like, right? It starts off like you're trying to better yourself, but then like it ends up like you're trying to pull rank on your own men, on your brothers, right? It's weird stuff. And they also have the most evictions, right? You can look this up. You don't have to believe me. So this is other stats that were left out. So it almost seems like these things cancel out. Yeah, you buy the most homes, right? You have the most evictions, right? Yeah, you got the most education between you and your man, but you also have the most debt because of that. Large amount of your debt. First of all, when you buy a house, that's a bill. That's the debt. right? And then when you get a degree, if you had to pay, that's another accumulation of debt. And let's not talk about all the other things you spend money on, like cosmetics, right? You're the biggest consumer, so like you waste a lot of bread, right? So you're in a lot of debt. Now, another thing she mentioned is that like black women have always been supporting their men, and she mentioned mom, auntie, like family members. Family is supposed to support family. Like this is like she threw me off when she spoke about that, because like family, your girlfriend or your spouse, like we all supposed to help each other. Like that was just a weird comment. All right, so let me just get to the men, right? A lot of men, yes, they don't go to college, right? Because they realize, why am I gonna go to college? They think logically, why would I go to college when I could get a trade in less time, with less debt, and make more money than a college graduate? Like, it is a fact that tradesmen make more money than college graduates, and they graduate with less debt or no debt. So logically, it doesn't make sense, right? Because I'm gonna already make more money and I'm gonna have less debt. As far as like the home ownership, I don't know why men not really getting more homes. But given my own 2 cents, right? When you buy a house, even though it's the #1 thing that could help you build wealth, right? And equity and all of these things, at the same time, you have to upkeep that house. You have to take care of it, right? You have to be able to refinance it. You have to be able to do all of these things, because you become like the landlord to that house, right? So what happens when you have to take care of it? You got all of this debt out, right? And like maybe you can't secure a loan, right? So it's not really that smart. Some men, my uncle made a lot of money for a while. He's a tradesman. And he never thought about buying a house until like maybe like 2-3 years ago. Like he was comfortably just renting. And again, buying a home, sometimes it doesn't make sense. It's not the smartest thing, even though it can offer you access to wealth and other things. But anyway, let me move on, right? So she talked about black women have always, black women, sugar mama stuff, like been sharing their wealth. A sugar mama is a woman that be sharing, and black women have always been sharing. First of all women share. All women share their resources, right? Unless you're part of the few that are dating some rich guys, right? That are well off, and they don't want them doing nothing or spending nothing. That's not majority of people. Majority of women share. They share their resources with their spouse, with their family. Like, we have to get out this delusion. Majority of women share. It's crazy. Then she talked about, because they are sharing or they're assisting in some sort of way, that the brothers don't have the right to bring up some of the things that they're doing that is wrong, that they dislike. That's like the craziest thing ever. It's like if men was like, well, I'm paying for everything here, so you can't talk about the things that I'm doing wrong. Like, that doesn't even make sense. Like, who's supposed to put up? But this is the thing that translates the same way. A lot of these women, they deal with brothers that need help, that need those kind of resources, right? That could lean on them as a crutch. And then they try to make it seem like that is most of the brothers. That is not most of the brothers, right? But they understand that the same way men used to do that to them, they understand that the man that used to be the breadwinner and making all this money, and maybe if you wasn't working and you at home, you got to depend on him. They understood, like, he king. He could move around and about because I depend on him. So they try to like recreate that. This is the funny thing that a lot of these sisters do, right? They try to recreate that and go mess with dudes that are in need, right? So they can wear the pants and they can feel like the providers, and they can feel like do the same thing. Because if you notice, men are not out here going to get degrees and coming back and rubbing it in sisters' faces like, I got a degree. They're not doing that. Like, men are not out here buying a home and they're coming back and like, yeah, I got my degree, I got my home, I got my, like, they're not really doing that. I'm not saying that dudes don't brag about the money. That's a lot of, like, you know, of course we got some weird dudes, right? But dudes are not going to college and doing these things and then coming back to compete with women unless they belong to the LMNOP. Outside of that, they not really trying to compete or trying to be like women. That's weird. That's weird behavior. A lot of sisters, they're trying to be like the brothers, or they're trying to compete with the brothers. And I'm not going to get into as to why, but this is just the climate, and there's a lot of clowns on the internet fueling it, right? And it's weird. And my last point, right, is life is about interdependence. If you don't know what that means, look it up. Life is about interdependence, right? We are social creatures. We live in communities, and we share resources. And brothers, if you're dealing with a woman and she doesn't get that, she doesn't understand that, like, your stuff is my stuff is your stuff, and we're building together. If she doesn't understand that life is about interdependence and mutual cooperation amongst just not like spouses, amongst like the community, the tribe. If she doesn't understand that, you shouldn't be with her. That's it. You don't got to get on the internet, try to make her understand. You ain't got to beat her in the head. You ain't got to argue with her. You ain't got to do none of that. If she doesn't understand that life is about that, it's no need for you to be trying to make her understand. It's no need for you to be going back with some of these sisters on the internet. Move around, homie. There's plenty of women out there that understand that life is about interdependence and sharing resources. There's plenty of them. If you can't find them, change your environment. Move around. The same way them sisters, they don't move around. They know who they're going after. They know who they like. They know what they're doing, bro. They know some of them other guys don't want to be with them. They know some of them other guys, they doing well off. And they can't pull some of that nonsense with guys that got their resources too. So they go to the guys that have to lean on them. That have to, and it's not even a lot of, homie, there's guys that is go-getters. They might not have it together, but they like, I'm gonna go get it, and they're gonna figure it out, and they're gonna, you know what I'm saying? And then there's guys that is like, I'm good, man. My baby mama a doctor. My baby mama a nurse. And I'm gonna just, it's dudes that do that. But it's not a lot of the, it's not a big portion of them amongst the population. So they, whatever. But I don't want to get into that. Again, this video is not for me to be divisive. This video is for, if you really look at the facts, it's not as they say. And in some cases, it is as they say, as far as the education and the home buyer stuff. But they're not talking about you have the most evictions and you hold the most debt. And a lot of times, having that debt prevents you from actually building wealth, like real wealth. There's other stats talking about how, like, black people, the average black person passes down either $0 or debt onto their children, their descendants. We're not talking about that, right? Because we want to sit here and talk about independence and all of this weird nonsense, when in the reality, we should be thinking about building wealth together. Building trust funds, passing our legacy, something, giving them something. When you have children, your duty as a parent should be to set your children up so that they don't struggle like you did. So that they don't fail and have to fall and get up and fall and get up. Of course, you're going to fail, but like, you get the point. We don't be setting up our children with nothing. So busy, caught up trying to argue with your man and trying to compete with your man instead of working with him. Because you got something to prove. Like that. That's weird. It's weird that a lot of these sisters are doing some of these things because they feel like they got something to prove to their man. You wanna be like your man. You wanna be in competition. You want to sword fight with your man. You got a penis too. It's weird. So brothers, anybody who don't understand about interdependence and that we supposed to be living in mutual cooperation, you shouldn't be with them. And if they think just because they supporting something, or like they be doing a little something that I can't speak out against what I don't like, you shouldn't be with them. But this is why it's important to vet. But let me know what y'all thoughts are in the comment section. Y'all stay blessed and stop giving your energy to like this weird podcasters and this weird messaging that they sending that is keeping us more apart and not united. Peace. Stay blessed.